Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through the Bulldogs versus Collingwood game, in which I don't know how to describe it, but I think the free kick was a little bit lopsided. I think there was a couple of iffy calls late, but Collingwood Magpies just got over the line by, 6 points? Yeah. So in the end they win, Bulldogs lose, I guess, and I don't know how to sort of, in a way, see how this outlines for the season for both sides, because the Bulldogs are missing their best two on-ballers. They're missing their best key defender, I would say. And it was almost only about 2 or 3 guys in the team that stood up, and that was about it. And the Magpies won based on about 3 guys turning up as well, and they don't really have anyone else out, so it will be interesting to see the contrast of these two seasons as we get into the meatier part of the season. But anyway, let's jump into it. So, Tom Liberatore, 109, 142, 34 touches, 2 marks, 3 tackles. He was everywhere. 18 contested possessions, 9 clearances, much to the same of what Newcomb did the night before. He dominated, and probably they needed the ability to put a tag on him, but we'll see what happened with that with regards to their tagger. Collingwood, and how that played out. Tim English, he definitely went berserk in the last quarter. Darcy Cameron also did score a ton, but Tim English, I think, dominated the last quarter, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong about that, but I thought he came from absolutely nowhere to score a decent enough score. If we go to the last quarter, I don't want to be an AR tracking. Let's go to last quarter. And point scoring, Tim English with the 38 and Darcy Cameron 35, so we did pretty well there. And then in the third quarter as well, Tim English 21, Darcy Cameron 23. So actually they were both tracking awfully similar and awfully horrific in the first half. It was 42 for Tim English, and also Darcy Cameron on 42 as well. They both exchanged it, so they were both on 42, and I think midway through the third quarter as well, Tim English was on about maybe 50 midway through the third or so, or late into the third, and then he just went. 5 marks, 7 tackles, 33 hit-outs. He had the 3 free kicks against. What did Darcy Cameron have? 6 free kicks for to get there, so you can see the difference there, and that's probably why I'd say Tim English won it. 33 hit-outs, yeah. So don't know how many hit-outs to advantage they both had, but yeah, I thought that was where Tim English got the upper hand. Darcy 100, and I'm actually just going to check this now, just that I'm not absolutely off my head here. Let's just see if on the AFL.com what were the hit-outs to advantage. Tim English 9 and 12 compared to Darcy Cameron 13.7. That's interesting, as he got a higher hit-out to win ratio, so I'm surprised Darcy Cameron was rated higher. Did he have a better ball use or something? Is that what they were going off? Interesting that Tim English isn't considered a better game there. So let's see, the centre clearances should show it. Where is it? Where are they both? No centre clearances for both of them. Stoppage, contested marks, maybe something. Darcy Cameron 2 compared to Tim English only 1. Disposal efficiency 92 for Tim English to 68 for Darcy Cameron. 13 contested possessions to 4. So that's interesting that they have it rated like that. They must like the I guess the free kicks against probably flips it in their eyes in the ratings. But yeah, I thought that, get rid of you, that Tim English had the better game, but it is what it is. Sam Darcy, I don't know how defences are going to stop him in 5 or so years' time, especially when he gets another key forward next to him that can actually do something. Because we know Hugo Hagen's out for personal issues, and also Norton just does nothing as a key forward. He turns up once in every 2 or 3 games, and so this was a game where he didn't turn up, and that was probably almost the difference, I would say. But yeah, Darcy just outstanding. Hit the post twice, which he should have scored both of those, so could easily had 6 or so goals there. Bailey Dale 96 141. He was just so efficient with his ball use. Ed Richards 92 105. He was outstanding as well. Joel Frazier into the midfield. This is an interesting decision whether to go with him or someone like a cash generator, because he did score 75 in fantasy, but that could have easily been, I would say, that could have easily been a 90-95 score from him. So at like 700k, basically priced at about 67, 68. Do you want to jump on him because he's going to score probably 90s? you would think, is an interesting call. And Supercoach wise, 100, that's a pretty decent total. Kennedy, 73, 79, and why are you... Get rid of that ad again. 73, 79 for Kennedy, 21 touches, 3 marks, 4 tackles there. Riley Sanders, 69, 62 splits, 16 touches but 13 handballs, and then 7 tackles as well. He looks good when in his limited time on ball. I know people say he's disinterested and stuff like that, but yeah, I just think you need to put him on ball, to be honest with you, and let him do his thing. He's too good for the VFL at the moment that he's not actually learning anything. So you got to almost have these guys in the middle at this point, especially with no Treloar. There's no point having Sanders just out at half forward because he's going to leave. There's no point having him at half forward because he's going to want out at that point. And we've seen the exact same thing happen to McRae. The exact same thing happened to Dunkley. And who else is the other guy that they tossed out? And Bailey Smith had a really good round one as well. So, yeah, when they toss out players or put them out into positions because they're not quote-unquote good enough, they absolutely smash it at the new club. Harvey Gallagher, 62, 55, sorry. Lob, Davidson, 67-2, was really good as a winger. That's what I sort of expect him to do. Have some off games, have some on games, and do something similar like this. So, not too disappointed in that score from Williams, to be honest with you. Karmas, Vandermeer, Harms, no one else here really, really noticeable. Josh Dolan is just going to struggle, basically a half forward. He's not going to score well in the next couple of years at least. I don't know if he is a on-baller in his youth, but just don't think he's going to score too well, to be honest with you, as I think he is just a medium forward. For footy reasons, let's just midfield forward. So yeah, probably going to struggle for a little bit. You would expect, given that he averaged, even in the under 18s, 12 touches, 4 and 1. So he averaged, I think it's somewhere around that 31, 43. Probably averaged around that 55 or so in the national champs. So that's not that good, to be honest with you. And for Sandy Dragons, he was averaging, in his upper year, 20 touches, 5 marks, and 1.8 tackles. So that's not the greatest return for a junior for a big fancy and Supercoach numbers. Nick Daicos, 136, 125. I don't know what he dropped to in Supercoach. If I actually just bring this up, Supercoach here, let's just see, what did he drop to? Daicos, he dropped to 602k and has a 115 break even on the bye. So can you get him next week? Potentially, that is a big question. Can you go and grab the defender? Can I go and grab the defender this week and get Nick Daicos next week? He has Carlton. Carlton will give him George Hewitt, but last time against Carlton he went 101. Then he's got Sydney. That's the thing that's probably putting me off this, is that he's still got 2 weeks of this, and yes, his break even, if he says, say he scores just a clean 100, next week his break even is going to be 115. He goes, do you really think he's going to be breaking the 115 break even? I don't think he will that much. And if he does, say he goes like a 130, he's probably still going to be priced about 610. So, and then he comes up against Sydney, which he went 66 last year against them. James Jordan is definitely going to be tagged, so I wouldn't be doing that. And then Brisbane, you could potentially grab him against Brisbane. He's done pretty well there, but Berry could be tagging him there. So that'll be interesting as well there with regards to that. So Nick Daicos it's all about timing with him and picking the right week. Is the right week next week, or is it against Brisbane? Or is it against Essendon? There's 3 options there that I think is the obvious options out of everything, because you're not going to pick him up going into Sydney. You're not going to pick him up against the best tagger in the comp. So it is about, do you pick him up beforehand and just cop that Sydney tag, which could be a 70, or we saw what happened with Neil as well. Let's just put that out. We saw what happened with Neil with a 40 odd. Caleb Sarong struggled his way to a 99 in Supercoach and then 83 in Fancy with a goal as well there. So that'll be interesting with regards to that. And and as you can see here, 39 touches, 14 contest possessions. He has still got it's not a high Well, it actually is a high contested possession rate, but you can see that a lot of his disposals are uncontested work as well, and James Jordan does cut those down dramatically, those uncontested possessions. So it will be interesting if he can cut Daicos down. He could almost half his disposals. I don't see Daicos getting in anywhere close, especially in the marks as well. He's going to cut down those +6s. I don't know what Sarong ended up on, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was only 3 or so marks for Sarong. I don't think it was too major. If we go to what did Sarong have in the end, he had 2 marks, Sarong, and then the week before that in round 1, Neil had, what did Neil end up on? Neil had no marks, and then also in round 0 against Hawthorn, if you look at Will Day's stats, he had 1 mark in the time that 1 mark and 7 touches in half of footy that he had James Jordan on. 1 mark and 7 touches and no goals. So he's in the past 2.5 games that he's tagged his opponents 2, if I just bring up the Brisbane game here. So 7 touches. Neil had 10, so that's 17 touches. And then also Sarong had 19. So he's tagged his players in 2.5 rounds to 36 touches when they all average about 30 touches a game. That's a big concern for Daicos. Like, that is, in 2.5 games, he's tagged his team, the guy he's on, in 2.5 games to about 150 points. So big concerns with that, and that's why I decided to more towards the Essendon game, Anzac Day, because you're going to get those price drop again. I feel like he's going to have a high break even against Brisbane. Schultz, Cameron, Daicos, no one else here really actually valuable. It sucks that Ned Long came on early. We'll talk about that as well with Perryman in a second. DeGoey, Pendles, Elliott, no one else here really to talk about. And then we get down to Perryman. That was just worst case scenario that Reef McGuinness subbed out after 4% time on ground, which 4%, if I just go to the actual game itself, you'll find, I believe he was subbed out after about 4 minutes. Maybe 5. He got through, Reef McGuinness, if it comes up here, 5 minutes and 2 seconds. 5 minutes and 2 seconds. To the point that Ned Long got on before Perryman, and Ned Long was the sub. And it just meant that Perryman, the tagger, had to go to the likes of a half-back role, because that's where his secondary position is. It was almost the exact worst player to come on for Perryman. If Reef McGuinness doesn't do his ACL, and say even Ned Long comes on in that time, but it's a half forward that goes down, you probably just see DeGoey, I think, have less CBAs and stuff like that, and some other guys. But it just so happened to be, if we look at the Collingwood, and I was surprised as well that they didn't put Pendles down back, and it was DeGoey 25%, Bo McCreary had 17% as well. So you would see McCreary's numbers go down, I think. You would also see some other guys go down. I'm surprised that Pendles didn't go down back as more as well there compared to Perryman, because they needed someone to stop Liver in the middle, and they never really got that, to be honest with you, from a Ned Long or anyone like that. So that was a little bit surprising. Perryman didn't have good numbers, but it just sucks because it was the decision to hold, and I'm going to talk about this later tonight as well, was, I think, had backing, had solid reasoning behind it. I just think it was the perfect storm of just events for it to just be a calamity almost, in a way. It's probably the best way to put it. So yeah, in the end, it didn't work. We move on, I guess. And I'd still back in saying that a guy's going to hit 70 or 80 when he's on ball, when he's projected to be a 50% on baller. It just so happened that his secondary position went down with the game-ending injury, and it was season-ending in a way, and they had Long on the bench as well, because he would have had 40% CBAs or 50% CBAs in the first 3 quarters, you would expect in that game, so if McGuinness didn't go down. But anyway, it is the end of the video. If you guys did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. If you are listening on Spotify, give me a rating and a follow over there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more videos. Bye guys.